How many videos have you watched claiming that you can boost your testosterone levels by taking a specific kind of pill, or perhaps by increasing, the amount of avocados you eat a day? There are literally thousands of videos out there claiming they can boost your testosterone levels by altering some sort of diet, lifestyle, or taking a special kind of pill. But what does the science actually say? Today, we're going to look at the top 5 ways you can increase your testosterone naturally. We're going to sort through the evidence and weed out the bullshit. The fitness supplements market is a multi-billion-dollar industry that affects people worldwide, and yet despite that there seems to be very little evidence that shows many of the products they sell actually increase testosterone levels. There are things you can do to improve your testosterone naturally, and it doesn't necessarily mean taking a pill for 20 quid. But the key is to know what is actually evidence-based and what is just going to be a total waste of your money. So with that in mind, here are the top 5 ways you can increase your testosterone levels naturally. Number 1, body weight. Easily the biggest impact on testosterone levels in men is your body weight, and in particular your amount of body fat. We know that obese men have lower levels of testosterone for multiple reasons. It affects estrogen production, insulin resistance, and actually has a direct effect on the testicles in reducing testosterone production. Interestingly, the converse is also true, and men with a very low BMI, or a body fat of around less than 10%, often find that their testosterone levels start to drop as well. This is because our bodies go into a flight or fight response. So if you don't know when your next meal is going to be coming, because you're very thin, then you're not going to want to start secreting testosterone in the idea that you might be getting a mate. You need to conserve your energy. The overall evidence seems to suggest that the best body fat ratio to increase testosterone production is between 10 and 15%. The impact of obesity on testosterone production in men is so significant that one study even found that a reduction of 10% of body fat can improve testosterone production by 4 nanomoles per litre. Bear in mind the normal range for men is around 15 to 30 nanomoles per litre. That can be a pretty significant increase. Number 2, exercise. We tend to associate weightlifting as the ultimate way to increase our testosterone production as men, but actually this isn't necessarily the case. The evidence seems to be that it's the intensity and complexity of the exercise we do rather than the type of exercise itself. We also know that the converse, so endurance exercise, can be particularly damaging for testosterone production, and we know that in long distance cycling or marathon runners they can actually reduce their testosterone as they push their bodies into a starvation state. This is very similar to the picture seen in overtraining. The idea that we're just pushing our bodies too hard and therefore need to reduce our amount of intensity to give our bodies time to recover. Number 3, sleep. Time and time again we talk about the importance of good sleep, and yet this cannot be overstated enough. We need at least 6 to 7 hours sleep per night, with ideally 3 to 4 hours deep sleep to generate a testosterone spurt in the morning. There is also this concept of the golden hour, the idea between 11 and 12 at night where our body produces more amounts of growth hormone than if we sleep after midnight. So it's not just the total hours that we sleep, but actually when our bodies go to sleep to start with. This is something that's just deep in our DNA, and no matter how hard we try and shift our sleep cycle, we cannot alter this effect. Number 4, stress. We all know that stress is bad for you. It affects our bodies in various adverse ways, from altering our immunity, altering how our diets and our sleep cycles occur, altering how we feel, and altering our overall risk of disease. But it also quite adversely affects our testosterone production, and primarily this is due to the impact of cortisol. So cortisol, we always imagine is a terrible thing, is actually very important, and we need it each morning just to wake up and get moving. It pushes our blood pressure up, it gets our sugars moving, it helps us wake up for the day. However, it's also a direct antagonist of testosterone, and the more cortisol you have secreted during the day, the less testosterone you get as a result. Cortisol is the stress hormone, and the more anxious and worried we are, we tend to generate more of this stuff in the background. The other adverse effects of stress is that it tends to have other impacts on other factors that affect our testosterone production. It's very hard to train and be motivated if you're worried about things. It's also hard to get a good night's sleep. In general, people that suffer stress tend to suffer a multitude of physical adverse symptoms, but in particular, it really affects our body's ability to produce testosterone. Number 5, medicine and supplements. As we said at the beginning of this video, the supplement industry is a multi-billion-dollar market. And as a result, the idea that there must be a tablet out there that can increase your testosterone production is pretty much ingrained in society. Most of us have tried something at some point to try and increase our testosterone levels without having to go to the doctor. But sadly, the evidence seems to be rather lacking. The 3 most common supplements we tend to see are either tribulus, fenugreek or ashwagandha, and sadly none of these have any evidence they make any difference in human levels of testosterone production at all. So just don't bother. In terms of vitamins and minerals, you might be keen to try something like either zinc or selenium or perhaps magnesium. And whilst these may have beneficial effects in other aspects of our health, for example sperm production or maybe sleep, there is no direct evidence they increase testosterone levels either. So is there anything you can take that will actually improve your testosterone levels? Well, if you're buying it from a health food shop, the answer is probably no. There are various things you can do in terms of your lifestyle to really try and get your testosterone levels maximised, but it's really important to remember that anything that really boosted your levels, that would improve your levels above what is normal, would have to be a medication, and therefore it would have to be testosterone replacement therapy, and this has to be a prescribed medication. I think for everybody who's trying to maximise their testosterone production, before going to the doctor and seeing do I need medicines, look at what I'm doing in my lifestyle. Have I tried all these sensible things that I can try and do to improve my levels myself? And if you're still struggling, that's the time to see a doc.